Hey everybody, welcome back to the Unsung Podcast. We're doing things a little bit different today. We're live on TikTok. So if you see anything popping up on my head or on Lisa's face, it's a whole different thing we can explain later. But today I'm joined by a very special guest in the musical community side of TikTok. And see that join my team thing is on my head. So just ignore that. If don't be clicking stuff if you're watching this on YouTube. But Lisa and we crossed paths on a live. I think it might have been through Quinn's, one of Quinn's first ones I was on. And then every Saturday night, Lisa hosts the Saturday Night Music Club, which is over a year now. You've been doing that?
We're going into week 64.
Wow.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you're on TikTok, send her a follow. I'll put the link in the description. And every Saturday night, she's on there live, just a great community of people. And then one thing I like about it, doesn't matter if you sound like Celine Dion or if you're, there's no judgment. Everyone's a rock star. And it's a pretty warm place. So welcome to my little show here. And for
Thanks.
those that don't know you, why don't you just tell everyone a little bit about yourself and we'll just start from there.
Well, my artist name is Lady Lisa G. G stands for my last name. I do have one song that is out streaming. I didn't pick up the ukulele until I was 39 years old. And I don't know, something clicked in my head that said, hey, this is the time. This is your time. You're ready to learn how to play music. And it was. So I've been playing ukulele for about 12 years now. And when I joined the TikTok community, um, I was at this weird period of my life where I had just been really sick and was trying to strengthen myself up. And I found myself on TikTok, and it was a really interesting time because musicians were just starting to join and create this community on TikTok. Like probably about a year into it, so there weren't a ton of musicians on TikTok yet. And yeah, I started doing the live streaming thing, and that really has been, the best part for me is just the live streaming. The connection with humans has been the best part of TikTok. I know that there are people who are coming for all different reasons on the TikTok, whether they want to make it famous, um, or a lot of people are just feeling really, really disconnected, and they just want to make a connection. Um, and that's me. And that's how I ended up, doing what I'm doing. It's really important to me that the people who come through Music Club know that whatever their thing is, whatever they're there for, I will support it. If you want to get your music out there, I will do my best to champion you. If you just want to get better at playing music, this is a place to see your growth. So,
It's funny how things work. Like I've had TikTok 3.5 years. I didn't really use it much. I actually joined it to I was at a live concert with my daughter at a band called Splash and Boots for like a little kids band, and they were giving away some DVDs at the live show. You had to post a picture of yourself at the concert. So I downloaded it, I took a selfie of it, and she won this DVD box set of all their concerts and stuff. And I post something around in a little stupid video of my dog or just something random, and then I came in the Quinn's live that time where I crossed paths with you, and the first time I sang, I had my camera off because I was terrified because I've always had a bit of a low self-esteem issue. But then now here I am hosting live, doing a live episode. I usually record these, so it's like, if I mess up, we can hit stop. And
right.
it's real. It's just meeting people like you and Quinn, and then like doing these lives on Sunday, and even you see, even watching yours, to watch people when I first went on there, and then watch people now, the amount of confidence and change you can just see in people from just being in a welcoming community like that, it's unreal.
I think what really got me when I started going into the live streams, seeing people not being afraid to make a mistake or ask a question. And that was or learning how to just cover your mistakes. You realize that people don't necessarily realize that you even made a mistake if you miss a verse or something. They just don't even know most of the time. So, learning that kind of thing gave me so much more confidence. And um, that kind of was what Music Club ended up being about and how it came about. Um, just wanted people to have that ability. There are so many great musicians out there who, once they have an audience, turn off,
Mm-hmm.
like shut down. And, getting your live legs is a huge deal. Um, but I don't know. I like to think that that's what makes mine a little bit different is that, we do open up and allow time for people to talk or have a little meltdown before they play or after they play. Like, because it is what it is. It's very emotional. It's very vulnerable to get up there and play in front of people. And yeah, I remember when you first came and played, and actually, when you left, you turned off your camera, but not your mic. And we heard your girlfriend, and she was all cheering you on and everything. And I was like, this is the sweetest thing ever, but I'm meeting you. Like, because I didn't want you to be embarrassed later. But we all were just sitting there melting. Like, we were just completely melting because it was such a sweet thing to hear you getting that kind of praise that you deserve coming from your home, you know.
Well, she's my number one fan. I tell you, every time I'm on the live, she's either just sat down behind me or just cheering everyone on, and it's I don't know, it's cool. I'm so addicted. But one
Yeah.
thing I like about your live, and of course with the Sunday ones we do with me and Quinlan, um, you go into a lot of lives, and it's everyone's just tap 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 or trying gift gift gift, and it's your music club is real, it's genuine, and that's why I keep popping into it, even if we're in the middle of something. Hey, well, just pop in there and say hi, and if ever people around here to make gifts or that's cool. But that's one of the things I like the most about it, and just seeing there was a girl, I won't say her name, but this is our 10th one we're doing on Sunday, and her first one she had her camera off while she sang for like, and then the next week the camera was on while she sang, and the week after the camera was on the whole show. And it's people that I've watched. Um, you see some people on there, they look like the happiest people in the world, but you don't know everyone on here's got a story and going through shit. And sometimes it's an escape too for people more than anything.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, and that's kind of how I ended up on TikTok was that I was in a bleak mental state, to put it mildly. Um, my son had gone off to college, but then he was struggling, and you never want to see your kids struggle. And when they go off to college, you're done. Like, as a parent, you cannot do much for them to advocate any longer. And so to be cut off like that and seeing him struggle and not being able to help and having to like make these changes for himself like was really really hard for me. Also, I just had this really bad surgery and I'd been sick for a long time before, and a couple of certain things happened where I got really really sick. And this was all at the time. I just downloaded TikTok and I was like, oh, this is just, I was I was very depressed. I was very sad. I barely got out of bed. And one of the things that I was doing was escaping into TikTok and escaping into my childhood. Like, I was doing horse girl TikTok. Like that's what I was doing, horse talk. And um I was watching hair gurus and makeup stuff and music and like a little this, a little that, a little this, a little that. And something happened where I got really sick. I was 185 pounds and I dropped to 137, like in a matter of a couple months. They thought I had lymphoma. And right around that point was when I started posting music and kind of like, at that point, you probably went through this too, where you're just kind of like campaigning to get to 1K so that you can go live. So, that was when I started the campaign. Um, we found out that I did not have lymphoma after many, many nasty invasive tests and many vials of blood given. Um, they did a lumbar biopsy, and what they found actually was nothing but evidence of what we already knew that I had, which is a really nasty, the same nasty autoimmune disease that McMars has. And while that is not great because the disease sucks, um, it is kind of reassuring to see that and be like, yeah, like there, if we go as far as your bone marrow, we can see inflammation. Like it is that bad. Your bone marrow is on fire, Lisa. So, um, I'm sorry. So they were like, hey, you're good. You don't have lymphoma. You seem to have stabilized with your weight loss. We don't know what happened, but have a good summer.
Wow.
And we had a freak summer that year. It started very early. The weather was temperate. It was like perfect weather every day. I was able to get outside on my front porch every single day and play ukulele every day. And where I live, that is unheard of. Like it rains here all the time. We're famous for it. The Cullens in the Twilight series, they applied to go to college in my town. Okay, like for a reason. There's no light here. So for me to be able to do that, and I was out in the sun, and I'm getting vitamin D, and like being on TikTok is like having um it's kind of like having an artist's retreat at your feet at any given time. You want to like talk to somebody about how to play, how to do a certain thing. Like, thank you for helping me through. Anyway, so 24/7 you can find somebody who can talk to you, help you with your music, inspire you. And that was what that entire summer was. I felt like it was I felt like it was I called it my summer of redemption because I've never had a summer that usually I'm like summers are miserable, they're hot, they're humid. I stay inside. I'm an indoor cat. That year, I went to stay outside. So, yeah. So it was really good. Like,
One of the most powerful things. I don't know. I haven't told you this directly, but I think it was last Sunday when you came on my little mental health live, and your version of "Just Breathe" has been stuck in my head ever since you sang it. I put the highlight of it. Um, if I wasn't putting this on YouTube, maybe when we're done the recording part, if you don't mind playing it after we're done, because if I put that up on there, I'll get copyrights and that'll get shut down on that side.
yeah.
They're a little more picky on there for that. But you mentioned Mick Mars, and I mean that disease he has. That Motley Crue was my favorite band since I was 10, and I turned 50 in August.
Okay. So you're okay.
I'm pretty familiar with it. The last time they were in Calgary, and it was him that actually set it up because I used to run a charity for the military on the side.
All right.
We used to send over care packages and stuff overseas. But their management company contacted me and they're like, Motley Crue want to send 8 veterans to the show. and this was where it was that the last tour that they did. So I could see the effects of that from the first time I saw them. I saw them 15 times live. So that when that started to kick in, we actually eventually made them, for whatever reason, stop with the band. But we go to this concert, and I'm figuring we'll be in like the second level or something, or fairly decent seats. They had us front row center, so I was literally 2 feet from Mick Mars, and Vince Neil came down. They were singing "Home Sweet Home," and they put the mic in front of everyone to sing
Oh,
the harmonies with them and stuff, and then they were throwing picks at us. But yeah, so that was all Mick Mars is doing, and 8 veterans got the night of their life. But it was just, I could see the difference in them from the first time I saw them live to the last time. It was just like, and just even just playing guitar. And I know you play a lot of ukulele, which we'll see. But do you ever get pain like from that while you're playing? Because it doesn't show ever.
100%. I'm in pain all the time. It's just, it's something that you learn to live with and manage. And, you know, I think the worst part of the disease for me isn't necessarily even the pain, because, there are things that you can help that can help with the pain. The fatigue is what kills me. Like, I just am so tired because your body actually, if it's not treated correctly, I looked back to 5 years before actually yesterday was my diagnosis anniversary. 2013, I was diagnosed. So that was a dozen years ago. And it was, I looked to 5 years before my son was born, and I still never had a normal inflammation marker. So, like, I've had this disease a long time. It literally looks like if you checked the inflammatory markers of somebody who had the flu. So their body would be sending all that inflammation to kick the flu. Like, that's what it feels like. You're that exhausted all the time, and you just learn how to live with it. They do have medicines, and I was on the wrong ones for about a decade, and they just got me on the right one for the summer of my redemption. And throughout that entire summer, I said, Lisa, it doesn't matter. Like, whatever's going on, anytime I felt like, but Lisa went, because I have anxiety, okay? Massive anxiety. Massive anxiety. So anytime I would get that, but when's the other shoe gonna drop? I'd say, this is your summer of redemption. You earned this. You deserve to enjoy this. You deserve to sit in the sun, heal, feed the chipmunks and the squirrels and the birds, and play your music. You deserve this. You are not going to think about when the other shoe is going to drop right now. Um, and that's when the other shoe was at the end of the summer. So, but I'm really, really glad that I did not let any kind of anxiety or worries ruin that summer. Um, at the end of the summer, I it was I think it was literally like September 29th or something. I was looking for the date, but that was I went in one night and I was like, oh, it kind of hurts there. And then I'm like, oh, that's kind of firm there. And then I was like, yeah, I got to go see my doctor. And the next morning I set my alarm. I woke up, I called the doctor. My husband works in his office in the basement. So I called him up to talk to me. And I said, I found a lump. I'm going in at 1:30. And he said, okay. And that got us started on being diagnosed with breast cancer. So, um, yeah, that was that was a little crazy. That so it was kind of like, and I felt like I was prepared for it because I had already had like all these horrible tests and stuff in the spring. So I was just like, okay, I already have my oncologist. I already have, you know, everything I need. Let's go. Let's just get this thing. We're gonna do it.
Well, something just sparked in my mind. You know what I'm gonna do with this episode? Um, it's hit or miss. Some of them get 80 plays, some of them get 5,000 plays, some of them get 2,000 downloads. But what I'd like to do, if you're okay with it, is get some information off you after with the specific name of that disease. Find someone that's doing research on it, and let's put that link in the description on YouTube and see if we can get some awareness going. Because I kind of know about it from being such a big fan of Motley Crue and doing research on it.
Oh, about AS?
But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that have no idea. So we'll make this kind of like an
Mhm.
awareness episode for that. See if we can
Well,
get the you know.
yeah. And the other thing is that something that I like to remind people, and that people don't even really know. You hear the words multiple sclerosis, right? And you automatically think, door closes, the person's disabled, they are like having problems, they're going to be fighting, they're going to be pain, they're going to be whatever. There are people who have my disease, that have multiple sclerosis, that have breast cancer, all of these things that go through almost nothing. And then there are people that are completely debilitated by any of them. So, when you hear the diagnosis, we shouldn't always just fall down all over ourselves. Like, it can be really horrible, or it doesn't necessarily, for me, the breast cancer thing was like, it was it was so mind boggling just to have, I keep saying the pink carpet got rolled out. And I mean, it was really great. People treated me wonderfully. Excellent patience, just respectful, dignity. Everybody was so wonderful. I don't want to take away from that. But ankylosing spondylitis, you're right. Nobody knows anything really about it. They can't speak it. They can't spell it. They can't, like, and, Dan Reynolds from Imagine Dragons also has the disease.
Hmm.
And you've been seeing him, he's looking built and dancing around stage, and like, that's another end of the spectrum of ankylosing spondylitis.
Well, you know what? It's just a testament to just when you're on live, or if you're on TikTok live or YouTube live, or you're watching someone, you never
Yeah.
know what someone's going through. There's a
Yes.
I had a guest on one of my first guests on just the normal episodes, but he's a power lifter, and he had won a world championship, like has Alberta records in Canada, and then he got diagnosed with leukemia. So instead of just sitting back and just taking it, he kept training with
Mhm.
leukemia, and then he won his second world championship.
Wow.
And then a year later, he got diagnosed with tongue cancer. So he lost 10% of his tongue, and he just won his third world championship with two cancer diagnoses.
Wow.
So I'm interviewing this guy, and I'm like, I get leg cramps in my leg from my knife wounds and stuff, and I'm like, wow, what the heck am I bitching about? Like, this guy's beat cancer twice, and
Yeah.
it is. Not said it's very much like Terry Fox, but that's what I love the most about doing this, is just hearing people's stories. And
Mhm.
my story, I dropped 170 pounds after 30 years of alcohol, PTSD, blah blah blah. But it's been out there, like it was picked up by Fox, CNN, Yahoo, and I was just thinking to myself, I just want to give other people a voice, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna be having some Special Olympians come on with me, because me and that guy were having a chat, because he was a Special Olympics coach for 9 years. And I thought to myself, these Special Olympians, they get up here in Canada, they get a 1 hour TV show once a year, and it's pre recorded, and it's at 9 o'clock in the morning. So you never hear about Special Olympians. And so I'm going to just start interviewing them, maybe in groups if, the episodes aren't long or whatever, but just to give everyone a voice. And I'm so
Yeah.
addicted. I love it.
Yeah. And, I was thinking about that as I was kind of preparing for what we were going to talk about. And I was thinking about the fact, like, I don't give everybody everything. there, but also a lot of you are new and you don't know about, or maybe you knew that I had cancer, but you don't know that I had AS. Like, because I haven't had a lot of room to speak to that, and haven't had a lot of need lately, which is a good thing. Right now, it's probably the best it's been controlled in years. They put me on a newer biologic, and the other three were like, there's kind of like a first wave that you can try, and I failed three of those. And so they're like, okay, try this one. And I'm like, why is this going to be any different? No. But they put me on it, and I figured, oh, it's going to be like 3 or 4 months. It wasn't. It was like a matter of like 2 months before I started noticing a difference. And I call it my magic elixir because it literally has given me a lot of life back. Like before I was on that medication, I couldn't sleep at night. I would go to sleep at 6 a.m. after like rolling around in pain all night. And then I would get up at about 11 a.m. and I was never fully rested. I was never, like, you lose your mind. You literally lose your mind if you don't have any wit, if you don't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't communicate, you can't speak well if you can't sleep. Um, and that went on for a long time. So, like, where I'm at right now, physically, is that I can handle a lot more as long as I'm able to take my time, go, just do a little bit at a time, whatever. Um, and that was the thing too, was when I was diagnosed with cancer, they're like, guess what? You can't take your magic elixir until we get the cancer out of your body. So that was a tough thing to hear. Um, yeah, this all was just, I called it, you know, um, they're complicated. They're in a relationship and they're complicated. The AS and the cancer. Is it's not. And everybody, I also want to point out too, if you have cancer, if somebody has cancer, your cancer journey is your own. Don't let anybody dictate how it goes. You talk to your doctor. Um, yes, seek input from other people if you want, but like, really, don't let people push you around, because they will. They will push you around so badly. And you know, my grandmother had breast cancer, and she didn't share with anyone until it was way too late to do anything about it, because she didn't want to go through the options that they had in 1972. The options weren't good back then.
No.
The options back then were as good as not.
Well,
So,
sometimes too, you find out things um, after people are not around. Like I know with me and my grandparents, if they had, I was younger when most of them passed away, except for my grandmother who lived to be 99. Um, but most my mother's three grandparents passed away when they were younger, and I never knew anything about what was going on with them because they didn't want the kids to worry, right? And it's just natural. But
yeah.
you're so strong, and like even just having, well, I did one of these with Jimbo, and of course a lot of people know Jimbo. He's here as the guy that plays the funny songs and the gets a little crazy, but then he had a story to tell too, and I hope that people just listening to realize if they've just propped into your music club or see you on in the mornings now with Nat the morning show, which I listen to sometimes from work just for a few minutes. But let's if you're up to it, let's get to some music. We'll play something that you wrote, and then we can talk about it before or after. It's up to you.
Yeah, well, I thought the first song that I would play would be Autumn Song, which actually I wrote the song um, right before I had my lumpectomy, right before I had the cancer out of me. It isn't released. I feel like it's not quite done yet, but it's getting a little more so every month or so, a little something. Um, but it's about like the fact that everything was going so well. And then all of a sudden I was like, you're going to have to stop. You might not be able to play. You might not be able to sing. You might not be able to, God knows what. And realizing, looking around at my little corner of music talk and realizing people were like mirroring me back to me, using my language, using my encouraging words. And I was like, it's okay because, like, look, I have influence here. Like, I matter. I make a difference. Just because I'm not active right now doesn't mean that, um, doesn't mean that I'm not here. And that's what I wrote the song about. And I hope that people like it. And I've changed it to 4/4, and let's see if I can actually play it in 4/4. I am in love with the light these days. The relief of bare branches against dusky haze, letting the sky direct how days go by. I look to the stars, but I don't ask them why. These days I can't shine, I will bask in your lights, taking the sound while I rest in a cloud. But I'll be ready when it's my time again. It used to be me up there running the show, and now I love sitting back watching them glow. Let myself ponder each grace as it comes, laugh at myself when I am out thumbs. These days I can't shine, I want bask in your light, taking the sound while I rest in a cloud. But I'll be ready when it's my time again. There's no need to rush while we're in it. We could all be gone in a minute. And I'll be ready when it's my time again. I am in love with the light these days. I'll give you the short version today.
Oh, you know what? That was awesome. Powerful words in there. I,
Thanks.
uh, I've been listening to music since I was, well, maybe 8 or 10 years old. But it's only within the last year I really start listening to lyrics. And could all be gone in a minute. That's pretty powerful for me personally, just listening to that. So that was
Yeah, I mean, we really have to enjoy it. Like,
when I talked to the my very first guest was the paramedic that saved my life in 1994, and it took me 29 years to find her, and I almost gave up. And it was a couple years ago I gave it one last shot online, and then we connected because the story went viral, and she said something pretty powerful in her. If when you're having anxiety or PTSD, just focus on getting through that next minute, not tomorrow, not a week from now, just 1 minute. And that song, I'll be sending that to her. She's probably watching. Well, she doesn't use TikTok, but she'll be watching on YouTube. Um,
cool.
But yeah,
Excellent.
it's some pretty powerful words in there. And
Yeah.
what I like to do as well, when you play your second song, whatever you're playing, I'm gonna open up the questions from anyone down below there. If any people got stuff they want to ask you,
Cool.
if you're up for that, let's do some live
I'm
Q.
up for anything. It's Friday.
I knew you would be. It is
Let's
Friday.
go. Let's go. And we got done a little, oh, or we got started a little bit late. So I know I was thinking like timing wise. Um, yeah. Another thing I would want to share is just, my husband and I came up with an affirmation during my cancer journey, which was in good faith and in good humor. And anyone that has told me that they have been diagnosed, I give them that. And I'm like, anything else, man, it's yours. And we'll talk about it however you want to talk about it. But I will give you the affirmation because in good faith and in good future or in good humor is like the way to be. It's the only way to make it through. The first
That's
song I played on uke, the first song that I played on uke was "Oh My Darling Clementine," and I played it on January 3rd, 2013. I think. I don't know if I actually could play it. My darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine. No, I don't think that's it. Something like that.
You said you had one song streaming. Was that the one you just played, or was that
No,
a
Detour is the
detour?
one. I can play that for you right now. Detour
Yeah,
actually came to me over a period of 72 hours and also is very much about mental health, like because when you get somewhere and you think that you got everything just all figured out and it's all done and everything's all set to go, and then you get thrown for a loop. That's what Detour is about.
nice.
And once you get it into your head, man, I cannot tell you how many times in a month period I will just throw my head up to the sky and be like, "You're taking something simply stated, making it so complicated." Just like the song goes. Yes. Let's do it. It's a mix of game of telephone. Send me on a detour when I'm already home. Don't want no company, don't want to be alone. Send me on a detour when I'm already home. 548 miles. I can still do the math. Gotta go 548 miles to get the hell off this path. And it's a mix of game of telephone. Send me on a detour when I'm already home. Don't want no company, don't wanna be alone. Send me on a detour when I'm already home. How did we get our signals crossed? Seemed like a simple conversation.
that reminds me of a painting that I have in my living room. That speaking again of the paramedic that saved my life, she's an artist. She's a painter, and she sent me this giant painting. I'll show it to you later. But it's a field of tulips, and then the beautiful scenery, but lightning's hitting the tulips, and that's what that song reminded me of. It's what PTSD is like.
Wow.
So everything is nice. You're in a field full of flowers, and then boom, in 1 second there's
Man.
lightning, and
Nice.
yeah, that was
Nice.
amazing. So I will, when I load this up on YouTube, I'll put the link to where that's streaming and see if we can get it some views. I also put this well on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. And
Cool.
I do get a mention here real quick. SJR Music and Production Company. They're out of Ontario, Canada. They've been very kind to me with these musical episodes. And a guy that I just had on 3 or 4 weeks ago, he's in talks of being signed to them to do an EP. So
Sweet.
I've been see. I used to late night scroll when I couldn't sleep, and music. Um, Gloriosa's not in here right now, but late at night she does these silent worship lives.
So good.
She's singing quiet so she doesn't wake up her kids. And I'll sit back and I'll put her on those, put it by my pillow, and I'm out in 5 minutes.
I know she's amazing. She's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. Um yeah, well, and I guess if you don't mind talking about a little bit of how music club came to be was that I guess Saturday nights I realized nobody really had like an open mic in my corner of TikTok, and people had said, "Hey, Lisa, why don't you have an open mic?" And I was like, "Cause I don't have a mute button. I can't mute myself if I host, and I don't have like a big soundboard that I plug into or anything yet. I'm afraid of. I'm trying to get over my fear of electronics. So when they gave me a mute button, I was like, well, I guess I don't have an excuse anymore. And a bunch of us were hanging out one night, and we were like, yeah, Phil Collins is really underrated. So we decided to meet again the next week, and with Phil Collins as a theme, which is something I've been thinking about for a long time. I was like, it would be so cool if we all went to an open mic and everybody did a song by the same person, or everybody did a song about spring, or. And yeah, it became mine. It, I mean, and it's a community effort. Really, the biggest thing that I put into it is committing to sitting in this chair for, the duration. Um, I wanted a place where parents with young kids who are old enough to entertain themselves but not old enough to leave alone could come. People who are like me, who are autoimmune compromised, can come and share, um, you know, all those kinds of situations. They had a place to go. And also, I'm really proud of the fact that, like you've said, no matter what level people are on, we're enjoying each other's journeys. It's not about the destination; it's about the journey
I
and
remember
sharing.
one Saturday I came in the one I think the theme was ABBA. I had never played ABBA before on my guitar. I mean, I'd heard them. So I think I got up and I tried something like a slowed down, kind of stripped down version of it. And it was just cool because I've seen people that were in there that usually do the same kind of music, same kind of artist, but it's just getting people to step out of their comfort zone. And I'm
Yeah,
sad. I'm sad I missed the dad rock one because that's my whole thing. But
right on, right on. Yeah, but I,
what
I'm really proud that everybody just treats each other with so much respect, and that we have fun without, just, I don't know, just everybody's pretty good with each other, and I appreciate it so much that we've managed to keep going. And I mean, 64 episodes, 64 weeks is a big deal. I
mhm.
mean,
Doesn't
I
even
mean,
in 64 Super Bowl, so you're.
wow, wow.
Well, they're once a year, but still. So
That's
what
something.
time do these start on Saturday? Just so if anyone's tuned in here now or like watching on YouTube or whatever, we'll see.
Yes. Saturday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern.
9 p.m. Eastern. Okay.
Yes.
9 p.m. Eastern. I'm gonna put all this in the description as well, so I'll
Excellent.
people can follow you because then they'll get the notification when you're live.
Okay.
Um,
You
I
know,
noticed something new on TikTok. Do you make events for it that people sign up for, or is just kind of
yes,
okay?
I make an event so that people can, can like set a reminder for themselves. Um, and I also put it up in the thought bubble what the theme is going to be so that people can look at the theme easily. Um, yeah.
So what's tomorrow night's theme? I haven't checked it yet.
Tomorrow night's theme, what the heck are we doing? Shoot. New York, New York.
New York, New York.
New York, New York. We're doing New York City. So you've got bands from New York City, artists who live in New York City. You've got songs about New York City. Like I'm gonna do Beth from Kiss because Kiss is definitely New York City.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe I'll have to pop in with some stripped down Frank Sinatra. I don't know.
There you go. You could do that. You could totally do that.
I've got kind of that deep Frank Sinatra voice. I never really tried it, so there we go. Maybe I'll pop by there tomorrow night
You should.
because
You
it's a
should.
Saturday night with no hockey playoffs, so I'm planless.
How did that happen?
Well, the first round is just over. There's only one game left, and the next one I doesn't think start till Monday. So
Got it.
it's uh, it's Canada, right? We're all about hockey. Once hockey starts up here, everyone shuts down.
I infinitely would prefer hockey over any other sport.
Well, what I like about it is that when they go to overtime, it's like one shot and it's over, right? It's not like football, the team's going down the field and 20 plays or whatever. Basketball, there's like 85 timeouts. Baseball seems to take like 8 hours for a game. I don't know. It's just so instant.
I like it
Yeah.
because people fall down a lot.
Yeah. So, do you have one more song you want to do for us?
I do. I would love to do Algernon's Flowers. This because you know autoimmune disease and cancer aren't enough. Um, After I had my lumpectomy that January, we had a really we get what people call black ice or glare ice in my area, and it was probably every now and again we get a really good one, and it completely turned our entire county into an ice rink. And I slipped and I fell on my head and I hit like literally everything from my tailbone all the way up to my head. I even like had an abrasion on my head. I had to go to the ER because like I couldn't figure out what day it was. And that was when I knew that I was like really screwed up. Because I was like, I don't know what day it is. And I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, it's January 8th. And it actually was like the 22nd or something. And I'm like, no. And then I'm like, no, no. So um, I had a few other things happen and I was like, your brain is not okay, Lisa. You need to go. So I had a little concussion going on. I had a little radiation going on. Ended up with some serious brain fog. And I ended up writing Algernon's Flowers, which is about the fact that it really sucks when you are having these memory issues and brain issues. And it's not just about you, it's also affecting the people around you. And I want to make sure that I'm in tune before I play, just in case. Come on. Thank you. Um, yeah, because it really sucks. It sucks for my husband right now. Like, it's really hard for him to have to tell me things 3 times. Or, and it's hard for me because I tell people 3 times something and forget that I've told them. So, or they tell me things and they just split right out the other side, and it all sucks. But I wrote Algernon's Flowers about it, and it's stood the test of time, and I hope you like it. I know Nat says that it's one of her favorites of mine. A lot of people say it's their favorite of mine. So, Algernon, sound right. Okay. No, I'm not going to do it on here. Sorry.
It's okay.
I don't know why that went weird all of a sudden, but it did.
Don't worry. When I post this online, I can edit out all this stuff too.
I'm tuning for you, for your listening experience to be a positive one. Okay, there we go. Sorry that I missed what you just said. I can't retain a word that I just read. I am too distracted by the buzzing in my head. Where do you go when you leave your own heart for dead? Please understand that I never meant to offend. Hanging around faster than a pinball, praying I'll stop, that I'll just hit a wall. Drained of everything, I'm so tightly wound, exhausted from all of this bouncing around. Bolted the door and I turned off the phone, hid in the dark, feeling so all alone. I never wanted anyone to know my name. Why did I expect anything but shame? And I'm caught up in slipping and slipping and tripping and tripping and stumbling and stumbling and stalling and stalling and fumbling and fumbling and falling and falling and tumbling and tumbling and failed and failed, and there ain't no winning from losing sometimes. From losing sometimes. And yet I insist to live with my heart on display, for you all to laugh at like some corny rom-com play. But the blood that bleeds out of my paper-thin skin, it's real. Even when I try hiding it, so is the pain that I feel. Sorry that I missed what you just said. I can't retain a word that I just read. I am too distracted by the buzzing in my head. Where did I go? I just left my own heart for dead. Please understand that I never meant to offend. And I'm falling and tumbling and tumbling and failed to fail, and there ain't no winning for losing sometimes. For losing sometimes. Thanks.
Amazing. All three of those songs. It's because I've only ever heard you sing like covers and stuff when I come into your live, so this was a real treat for me too.
Thank
But
you. Oh, thanks, you guys. I have all my friends are here.
We can keep going. Once I if you want once I cut off the YouTube portion of it, if you want to play, I'd love to have you play Breathe. It's just if I put that in here, they'll
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure.
they'll
Sure.
flag me and then I'll get hit with copyrights and then my channel's gone. So I don't want to take that risk. But this was awesome. We'll keep going, like I said, or anyone sticking around here for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, and yeah, this particular song has hit a lot of people who have family with strokes, Alzheimer's, PTSD, or um, ADHD, as well as concussion, post COVID. Like I've been really overwhelmed by the response to it. Um,
If you're okay with it, I wrote a song. I'd love to send it to you and have you play it on a ukulele. It's I if you want to try it, we want. But my grandmother had Alzheimer's for 14 years, and I used to live across the street from her. And for the last 2.5 years of her life, she couldn't talk. She mumbled. It was just blah 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 blah. And so I go and I just talked to her. I didn't care. But when I would sing, she was a minister in the Salvation Army Church. So when I would sing hymns or songs from her memory, she would sing along every single word and then just go back to
wow.
mumbling. So I wrote a song. I did put a version of it on my thing, but it's called 3 Minutes with Grandma. So the chorus says, for 3 minutes, she'd sing along. Her voice would join me soft but strong. In these notes, I'd see her smile come back, like the years hadn't faded to black. So that song kind of reminded me of that because I called it 3 minutes because when I go there, I was only like 16, 17 years old. And I was in a Motley Crue and Metallica, but I'm in an old age home singing church songs, and my parents would have loved to hear that. But for those 3 minutes, I had her back. So if you're interested, I'd love to send you the lyrics and see what you could do with
Hmm. Oh boy.
it. No pressure, just a thought went through my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Definitely.
we can talk about that after. But
Yes.
I'm
Absolutely.
so glad you came on with me. We did this. I'll get this up in time tomorrow morning so that maybe you'll get some new traffic out to your show.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and if not, if this is out there in the world, it will bring people, you know. People will find us.
Well, and you
People
know
will.
what? It's funny because if some of my episodes get 10 plays, some of them get 5,000. But I had a conversation with the very first podcast I was a guest on. I was on with a nurse in Chicago. She's an ER nurse that started her own podcast. She heard my story. She's like, "Do you want to come on with me?" Sure. But then, so she saw the article that was done on Fox News and CNN. She's like, I only get 8 listeners a week. She's like, "Are you sure you want to do the show? It's so small." And I'm like, "Listen, I said, if there's one person listening, that was me in 2010 when I thought about jumping off a balcony, and they reach out and get help. That's worth more to me than if 10 million people tune in." And that's how I am with every live. Like, I don't, every Sunday when I don't look at how many likes it has, I don't care about what league's up in the top. Just seeing things like people that I've watched live, all of a sudden, hey, before they start playing their song, they're opening up about shit they've never talked about. And that's worth more than anything to me.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about numbers; it's all about impact. And
Yeah.
I
A
got a
hundred
feeling
percent.
that people watch this and you're playing and I call it like a soul massage. Just the way the ukulele goes with your soft voice. Even my girlfriend Amanda says, "I just want to hug her." That's what she says every time she listens to you sing. But
Aw, I love that. I love that. Yeah.
yeah, so we'll shut this down technically right now, and I'll get all the links in
Sounds
there.
great. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I really do. You have some amazing people that have come before me, and I'm just honored to be one of them.